Expected points, clean sheet odds, the best captain, and the best players to buy. This video has got everything you need to know for the final game week of the season. Alright then, we're going to start by looking at the top players for expected points by position. Now, if you watched my buy and avoid video, which I released on Saturday afternoon, I did the same sort of data there, but given there have been some football matches occurring since then, some of the points data has changed, so I thought it was worth revisiting things. Particularly considering I think the Arsenal-Man United result yesterday on the Sunday is so important for FPL now because it means that the title race goes on until the final day of the season, which means Man City and Arsenal are going to field their best 11 for all of their remaining games because both teams need to win them all, right? Which means, I think that means basically that having 6 players from Arsenal and Man City is still possible. You know, if the title was wrapped up, you'd imagine that certainly Man City would have rested some players, you know, ahead of the FA Cup final, but they don't have that luxury anymore. So I do think it's important to discuss the top players for expected points again. Goalkeepers then, and there's been a shift. It was Muric when I did my buy and avoid video, but Raya has taken the lead now for expected points for goalkeepers. 4.3 expected points. He's got Everton at home. I would back Arsenal to keep a clean sheet in that fixture. I don't think Everton they're all right defensively. Obviously, Sean Dyche has got them playing pretty solid. Pickford being one of the top goalkeepers, well, the top scoring goalkeeper so far this season, right? But scoring goals, I think Everton are going to struggle, particularly at the Emirates, and Raya is the top goalkeeper. Muric is just an absolute bonus points machine playing in goal for Burnley. Yeah, he's second place, 0.3% ownership, really, really low. Ederson, Man City actually keeping clean sheets recently. They've got, who have they got? West Ham at home. I think that's a good fixture. Obviously, David Moyes' final game in charge of West Ham. Whether that changes the way West Ham play, who knows? But I think Ederson's got a chance for clean sheet in that one. Alisson, Petrovic, Leno, Henderson, Vicario, Flecken and Dubravka. Although I would say, we'll see if Dubravka starts the fixture against Man United in game week 37. But with Nick Pope back on the bench, you know, I think it's unlikely that Dubravka plays in game week 38. I've got to be honest. Let me know what you think of that in the comments. All right, defenders then, and the man of the moment, Josko. I think sure that's how you pronounce his first name. Josko Guardiola is top 6.6 expected points against West Ham at home. Let me know if you've got Guardiola in your team. He's been in my team for the last 3 or 4 game weeks and genuinely saved my season. 15.2% ownership still isn't that high. It's less than quite a lot of some of the defenders on this list. But yeah, he's being fantastic at the moment. And I think right now, based on how he's playing, the position he's playing in, etc., he's one of the first names on my team sheet for next season already. Ben White, Everton at home. Obviously, like I said before, I think Arsenal got a good chance of keeping a clean sheet in that one. And he is the top Arsenal defender for expected points. You can see Gabriel and Saliba up there as well. Trent, Wolves at home, 5.3 expected points. Likewise, Walker, Akanji, Ake and Porro. And Robertson in there as well, or your other top defenders. Onto the midfield, and I've checked some other expected point sources, and you'll see those as we go through captaincy. Some of them have Salah as not only the top scoring midfielder for expected points, but also, you know, in general, in the whole game, midfielders, forwards, defenders, all positions, Salah as top. But Draft Hound, they actually have Saka as the top midfielder, 7.1 expected points against Everton at home. Obviously, he got subbed off towards the end of the Man United game. And I do think he's been carrying a niggling injury pretty much all season long by the looks of it. I think he's got something going on with his Achilles. Any Arsenal fans, any, you know, people a bit more in the know with Arsenal could let me know if, you know, the detail of that in the comments. I'd be grateful. Salah's in second place, 6.8 expected points. Odegaard, Havertz, Palmer, De Bruyne, Trossard, Gordon, Elise and Son are your other top midfielders. Personally, and I'll talk about him in a second, I really like the thought of owning Mo Salah for game week 38. I think Wolves are sort of on the beach, really. They know they're safe. They're just not in the best of form at the moment. And I think Liverpool could score a fair few goals in that fixture, considering, you know, it's Klopp's final game in charge of Liverpool and it's at Anfield. It's written in the stars, I think, for Liverpool to really play to that occasion. If you can get to Salah, I know a lot of people would have sold him ahead of the double game week. He's down at 23.1% ownership now. Yeah, if you can get to Salah with the money you've got in the bank, I think he could be a really nice differential compared to other players like around your position. And finally then, the forwards. Haaland leads the way, 7.4 expected points against West Ham at home. Haaland is actually, according to Draftdown at least, the top scoring player for expected points in the game. Isak, Brentford away, could do really well in that one. He did get subbed off early in the first fixture of Game Week 37. I saw some rumours that he was injured, but I haven't seen any more on that, so I think he should be okay to go. Nicholas Jackson, obviously in really good form at the moment for Chelsea. Alvarez, obviously he's up there for expected points, but you've got to ask the question, is he going to start? Mateta, been an absolute hero for me. 5.4% ownership in really good goal scoring form against Aston Villa at home. Watkins, I'll talk a little bit more about him in a second because I think he's a really nice asset to get hold of if you don't have him at the moment. Solanke, Morris, Wood and Gakpo are your other top forwards. Right then, and on to talking about the captaincy. We'll look at the Drafthound expected points first. I've got another source up next as well. Haaland is the top player, 7.4 expected points. Saka in second, 7.1. Salah in third, 6.8. I really like the thought of captaining Salah for Game Week 38. I really do, because I think he's a nice differential. 72.5% of the game have Haaland. And if there's any way you can get back to Salah for Game Week 38 and captain him, particularly if you're like chasing rank, I think it could be a really nice way to go against Haaland and try and gain some rank. I do think Haaland will probably do quite well at the Etihad against West Ham. But like I said, think of the occasion that Liverpool are playing to against Wolves at home in Game Week 38. It's Jurgen Klopp's final game in charge of Liverpool. I think that could mean it's going to be a goal fest. Odegaard, I don't think you can captain him over Saka. Just think the Man City penalty taker is, the Arsenal penalty taker being Saka. I don't think you can captain another player from that team who doesn't take the penalties. That's just my thoughts, of course. Guardiola, can you captain him? I do think obviously he's in great form at the moment, but is a slight overperformance of XG and XA, those kind of stats, is he going to be able to keep that form up? I think if it were me, I say Haaland is just the safe captaincy pick, and if you're looking to chase, I'd probably go Salah. I usually show the FPL review expected points data, but their data isn't actually ready yet. I tried to look for Game Week 38, but it just wasn't there on the system just yet. So another source for expected points data, and they're actually really good for like forward planning your team as well. And I reckon at the start of the season, they'll be one of the first sites to actually allow you to build an FPL team. And conveniently, the website is FPL Team. Go and check that out yourself if you want to see this kind of data. Completely free to access. They've got Salah as the #1 player for expected points. It's quite interesting. Obviously we saw Drafthound have Haaland. FPL Team have got Salah. So I think that kind of backs up my point, really. Haaland and Salah, I think, are the two captaincy options to go for. Haaland being the, safe, easy choice, and Salah being the one if you want to make up some ground. All right, then, a quick look at the clean sheet odds. Couple of teams, 50% or above. Arsenal, 55% to keep a clean sheet against Everton. I'd say that's pretty good odds. Man City, 50-50 against West Ham. Liverpool, 48% against Wolves at home. Tottenham, 33% Sheffield United away. I think if you're a Pedro Porro Van de Ven owner, wouldn't be too worried about starting them in Game Week 38. And then every other team is below 30% to keep a clean sheet. Usually my rule with regards to picking teams for clean sheets, etc., is I'd be nervous about starting defenders below 30% to keep a clean sheet. And as you can see there, that's most defenders in the game this week. So suggests to me that there's going to be a lot of goals in Game Week 38. Let me know in the comments what you think of those clean sheet odds. And other than Arsenal, Man City and Liverpool and Tottenham, if you'd back any of those other teams to keep a clean sheet. All right, I just wanted to step through a few players that I think are worth eyeing up for Game Week 38. I've spoken already about Mo Salah as a differential captain option. I really like him as a pick. If you have enough cash in the bank to either get him back or if you have him already to keep him, I really like the thought of owning him for Game Week 38. I think he could be a really nice captaincy option. Wolves have been pretty poor recently, and I think, the narrative around it being Jurgen Klopp's last game, it being at Anfield where Salah, I think, is a little bit better than when he's away from home. I think it's written in the stars for him to have a good game. Like I said, not many active managers will own him, and I think quite a few managers will struggle to get him back the way they've shifted up their teams to target double Game Week 37 and the bench boost, etc. I don't think many people will have Salah for Game Week 38. He's obviously very likely to start, play 90 minutes, take penalties. He hasn't played yet in Game Week 37 while I'm recording this video, so obviously anything can happen there, but he's pretty unlikely, I would say, to get injured. So, if he's fit to start, I think he plays 90 and takes penalties. And he's one of 2 players in the league that has over 1 expected returns per 90. That means every game he goes out, he's expected to get either a goal or an assist. And only Haaland matches that kind of score. So we all know the level of Salah. And while he is a kind of differential probably amongst active managers, what a time to get hold of him. Next up, I obviously think Guardiola was a great option. His form at the moment is absolutely outrageous. He can obviously get returns through 3 different means: goals, assists, and clean sheets. And when you combine all of those 3 together and add them up, over the last 5 Premier League games, he's had 9 returns. And if you were picking, say, a striker or a midfielder for 5.1 million, and they got 9 returns in 5 games, everyone would have them in their team, right? And that's the level that Guardiola is playing at the moment. He's given me kind of Cancelo vibes. You played FPL a couple of seasons ago when Cancelo was basically playing as one of the first inverted fullbacks that we'd ever seen. And the guy was cutting in from the left and scoring goals. That's what Guardiola's doing right now. I said here it will depend on the league situation. If he plays Game Week 38, Man City need to win all their games now to win the league in my mind. So he's going to play every game. And with that run of form, West Ham in Game Week 38, I think a clean sheet, goal and assist is entirely possible in that game. He is, if you don't have him already, a great option. I also wanted to mention Ollie Watkins as well. Despite Haaland's recent form, Watkins is still the top scoring forward in FPL. I think quite a lot of people would have got rid of him because he didn't have a double game week either in 34, 35 or 37. I'd say Crystal Palace, who he's got in Game Week 38, are not the strongest defensively. They're playing really well, passing the ball really well under their new manager and creating a lot of chances, but they are conceding goals. Villa, they're not fighting for the top 4 anymore, so you can discount that point. But I still think Watkins is going to play. You look at that level of returns, what's that, 19, 17? Is that 36 attacking returns in 35 starts this season? I think he's going for, chasing for the golden boot, getting the most assists in the league, etc. So I think he's going to have motivation to do well in that game. And again, a top scoring forward in FPL who is currently a differential. What more do you want? And finally, I just wanted to talk through the Arsenal defence as well. Like we showed on the clean sheet odds, they're 55% to keep a clean sheet against Everton at home. They're the best defence in the league, and they're going to have to keep playing until the end, right? They're going to have to win their game to win the title. And they'll want to keep a clean sheet to do that. I think one thing Arsenal have done this season compared to last is their greatest scoring goals are the top scorers in the league. But defensively, they really have focused on being solid, obviously partly down to buying Declan Rice. So they are absolutely fantastic for clean sheets. Everton, they ain't got anything to play for now, right? They've reached safety in the Premier League. They're not all that good at scoring goals. It looks like a likely clean sheet for Arsenal. And people may have sold Arsenal defenders, right, for double game week players, which I think is mental personally. But if you have a slot for an Arsenal player, I think you can buy an Arsenal defender. I really like Gabriel. The expected points data shows Ben White as top. He's right back, probably playing in the most attacking position. But I just feel Gabriel offers so much goal threat from set pieces. He hasn't had one recently, to be fair. But I do like his chances, and I think he's probably the strongest. So if you don't have Gabriel, I'd say he's the strongest. But all of the players listed here, Ben White, Raya, Gabriel and Saliba, they're all pickable. They're all likely to start, in my mind, in Game Week 38. I think you should probably buy one if you don't already have 3 Arsenal players. All right, and that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed that and found it useful. Bit of a brain dump there of useful information ahead of Game Week 38. Let me know in the comments what your transfer plans are. Obviously, we've still got some remaining fixtures of 37 to go, so could be all up in the air and change. But I just wanted to get some information out early. Yeah, if you enjoyed the video, please leave me a like rating. Like I said, let me know in the comments what you can do with your team. If you're new around here and want to see more content from me, you can subscribe to the Goal to Goal channel, which should be just there on your screen. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you in my next video.